telling me I'm on Alexa now?
You are. Now Alexa knows who you are. You got your own Wikipedia page. You might have done something. And hopefully it's something good, okay? Yeah, hopefully it's something good. So let me share a little bit. So he served on military for almost 40 years. He last served as the commanding general for the Marines, right? Over 150,000 some odd Marines. He's led war and combat all over the globe. He's got 2 master's degrees, one in hospital management from Yale. He's got a master's degree from Georgetown University in political science. He worked in the White House with Ronald Reagan. I don't know if any of you guys know who Ronald Reagan is, right? I mean, he's done everything. I'm just really so lucky to get to know him and have him kind of share his story. But really, when you think about baseball and military, here's how they come together. It's about a bunch of individuals doing their job together as a team. And it's about how you trust in one another that you're going to get the job done, right? It requires a lot of mental toughness, a lot of preparation, all the preparation that you guys go through every day. And it requires strategy. And it's all about supporting your team. Now, it may not be life or death, on the baseball field, but the reason why I wanted General Williams to be here is because it is about mental toughness. It's about preparation, strategy, and supporting the team. And he led over 150,000 soldiers, the best of the best, that when they go out, they're opening the door to the rest of our military, and they're protecting us and giving us the right to do all the things that many countries never get a chance to do. And I'm just honored. So one question I have for you, and I'm going to kick it to him because I know you don't want to hear from me, okay? You have a chance to leave a legacy, right? You have a chance to be a part of something special. And my question that I want each of you guys to ask yourself is, when you leave here, how do you want to be remembered? With that, it's my honor to introduce General Williams.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, thank you for letting me come up here, coach and coaches. Let me talk to your team here. You don't know me from anybody. I'm sure I'm not one of your heroes that you look on, because you probably have a lot of baseball heroes and football heroes and all of that. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what you really need to know, and what a real hero is, what real heroes do, and what the expectations are. Because what you learn here in baseball is really part of the foundation for the rest of your life. I remember when I was in my baseball playing days, and especially when I was coming up in grade school and high school. It's not as organized as it is now. Then we used to just go down the neighborhood and say, who wants to go do a game? We had a field, had no grass on it, only had rocks, so if you slid into first base or second base or third base, you were going to get strawberries. That's just the way it was. And they were probably pretty good, but that started to make people tough. Because then we figured out that, hey, if you really wanted to play this game, you had to make a commitment. You heard Eric talk about commitment. And the question is, are you committed? You know that when you stand up to the plate to go bat, it's between you and that pitcher. And the pitcher's trying to take you down in terms of 3 strikes or 4 foul balls and out. And the question is, are you focused enough and committed enough to hit that ball, regardless of what speed it's coming at you? And part of that is your training, your focus. I mean, that's why you have all the batting cages, all your training that you do. And training makes you better. You can't do enough training. By the time some of you may go to the military, some of you may go on to be great business people, some of you may go on to be great doctors. Everybody has to be committed in their profession. And it starts somewhere. And this is a good place to start that commitment. If you want to win, then you got to train and support the other guys on the team, because that's what team's about. And as you know, there's no I in team. If you can find I in team, then it's not a team. And so you guys have to be a team. So let me talk to you about a little bit of my history, which kind of gives you a little bit of perspective. So I was a 5-athlete guy: baseball, track, wrestling, and judo. Those are my sports. And then I had another sport which was really not something we did in high school, and that was martial arts fighting. So I was a professional martial arts guy for a long time before I came into the Marine Corps. Had 48 fights, won all of them except one. We tied. That was it. So when I came into the Marine Corps, I was pretty well prepared. But you don't know what you don't know until you get into it. So some of you may have military people in your background. You see, when they come to me and we go training, we do really more difficult things than probably what you ever do in sports, whether it's track or football or wrestling or baseball. You're preparing for the next and really what we call the toughest game, and that's life. And military guys play the toughest game because at the end of the day, it's about life and death. And the question is, are you prepared for that? Because as we go through life, there's only one way you get out of it, and that's you're either dead or you're going to be dead at some point. But my position on that is get over it and live life. So you have a lot of life to live, but getting to the end of your life depends on how you prepare the beginning of your life. You know, you probably have friends that have done things that aren't real good. And the question is, what kind of character do you have? Do you tell them they're not doing the right thing? Are they doing the right thing for the right reason, at the right time, every time? To me, that's the character of a man or a woman out there, because it's about what's in here. So I'm going to talk to you like I talk to my guys out on the battlefield. And I'm sure your coach probably asks you this sometimes too. Like, why are you here? Why are you playing baseball? Why do you want to play baseball? Some of you are going to say, I'm pretty good. How many of you are pretty good at baseball? Only one hand? I would hope all of you put your hands up. Okay. Because coach, you know, he wants to know that you're all good, right? Because you got some teams to go out there to play against. But at the end of the day, you know, I used to tell my guys, I said, they'd go, well, sir, you gave us orders to come out here. Yeah, but I didn't tell you to sign up to be a Marine or soldier or sailor or airman or even a CIA agent, because they work with me a lot too. But at the end of the day, you're here for one 4-letter word: love. So you don't hear that from a lot of guys. You don't hear that from a lot of generals. But you're here because of love. You know, if you're a religious person and have a faith, you're here for the love of your faith. If you're here for love, you're here for the love of your family and friends, because they make you who you are. Are you here for the love of your country and your community? You know, you're one of the greatest states in the United States, and certainly one of the greatest places in the world, Texas. And you should be really happy that you're in this part of Texas, because it really is the best part of Texas. And then it's about your fellow teammates and your students that you work with, or in the case of my military guys, the Marines, soldiers, sailors, and airmen that they work with. And then at the end of the day, it's about the people that you're doing this for, the American people. So military guys, they know what their mission is, and it's that narrow. And they know they got to do something out in the battlefield. You have to do something on the field. You either got to field well, bat well, run well. And so you got to be conditioned to do that. And then you got to play the game as a team. And everybody's got to know the strengths and weaknesses of everybody on the team. Because you don't put the worst batter up when it's time to put the best batter up. And your coach makes that decision. And that's the same way in the military. You don't put the slowest guy out or the weakest guy out, you put the best guy out for the mission. And so, but that's commitment. And so one of the things you have to think about as you do your sport in baseball, or if you're in other sports, is how committed you are to it, how much do you love it, and can you do it for a long period of time? Because that's part of the commitment. Training, conditioning, flexibility, weights, whatever you're doing, batting practice, catching practice, fielding practice, all those things are going to make you better. And the question is, are you committed to do it? You know, you probably got a lot of friends in the class here that when they come out to see you, they want to see you at your best. The question is, when you walk out the door and you hit the field, regardless of how you feel, oh, I got the flu today. Oh, I got an upset stomach. Oh, I got a cramp in my hamstring. Are you going to play the game? Or are you going to go to the coach and say, Coach, I got a couple more excuses? Coaches want reliable players. They want committed players. And the question is, are you committed? And if you're committed, then you're going to prove it on the field every day. At practice. The best practice makes the best game. Always. You know, I used to hear people say, well, you know, I'm going to put my best effort out when I get out on the field, when it's game time, when it's this time. No, it's every time. Now, you'll have fluctuations, but you know, the sharpest weapon that you will ever have is between your ears. You get this right, and everything goes right. You know, if you're in the classroom with your teachers, don't make excuses. Don't cause problems. You're going to be the best student that is in that class. Because then that translates to being down here. Are you going to be ready? You know, some of you may want to go pro. Maybe, how many pitchers do we have in here? What's your fastest ball? Okay, what's your fastest ball? Why can't you have 2 or 3 or 4 pitchers that throw 93 or better, right? So the question is, are you ready to do that? Are you prepared? Is your arm prepared? Is your pitching style prepared? Preparation alleviates poor performance. So remember that. When you're thinking about, well, I'm going home and I should be working out, I should be maybe doing a conditioning run, or maybe I should be doing batting practice. Oh, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. Well, you know, the guy or gal that goes to hang out with your friends at that time is going to be beaten on the field because there's somebody else that's training harder than you. So the question is, are you committed? So at the end of the day, I would tell you that everything that you do depends on the center. So at the heart, like I said earlier, it's about love. Love and commitment, practice, dedication, and then at the end of the day, are you motivated enough to do all that day in, day out, day after day? And see, you're preparing yourself so when you get to the next level, they're going to see whether you're committed, whether you're dedicated. If some of you go to the military, we're going to really know whether you're dedicated or not. See, when the bullets fly and the bombs start, it always tells me who's brave enough to be there. And I'm going to tell you a story about a couple of high school baseball guys that worked for me in Iraq. And I'm going to tell you how brave they were. We're in the city of Fallujah in the center of Iraq. Some of you may have heard or read about the big battle we had there back in 2004. We actually had 2 battles, one in the spring and one in the fall. Suicide bomber, driving to run these 2 Marines over. They never moved. They held their position. They lost their lives. They were awarded the second highest medal that is given. That's the Navy Cross in the Marine Corps Navy world. for their bravery. They didn't have to do that, but they did that because they were committed. And they had opportunities to be great baseball stars one day. But they gave that up for their fellow Marines, to save people, and do something greater than themselves. So the question is, as you're building your career in baseball, this is just the foundation, this is just the platform for you to go to higher heights. And the question is, are you committed? So I think that I'm going to end with this, is that you have a platform to speak, whether it's with your pitching arm, with your bat, or with your fielding. And the question is, and then who are the catchers? The catchers are the playmakers. So in your playmaking, and of course, who's the shortstop? Shortstops are playmakers too. You guys are probably the fastest guys on the team, right? Okay. Even if they say so, they're probably still the fastest guys, right? But at the end of the day, make your commitment, be dedicated, and at the end, never, never, never quit. Okay, guys, it's good talking with you. If you have any questions, I'll be here to answer any questions. But other than that, good luck to you. You know, God bless you, and hopefully you have a winning season this year. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
We got a little gift for you right here.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Guys, any questions? No?
See, that's just like what you guys do in class, right? Teacher asks you any questions and you guys all go silent. Okay.
Like you're in a battle, right? What's the scariest, like I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, what's the most
Well, I think
scariest?
for anybody, it's just like when you get to that point, whether you're going to meet your maker or not, the question is what are you going to do? Because you got to make a decision. Some people freeze, some people run, and some people fight. Now, if you came with me with Marines, you know where we're going. We're going to the fight. We're going to the bullets. We're going to the storm. We're going to the worst part of whatever goes on. And so, you know, I tell people, I said, look, this is not for the faint of heart. And part of that's character. Part of that's character building. And so, and the question is, does fear play into it? Fear just sharpens your senses. But if you're prepared for it, fear a lot of times meets opportunity, and in that opportunity, you have success. So I'm here to tell you that for a guy that got blown up 5 times, was in 2 helicopter crashes, was in a plane crash, and had assassination attempts on him, I'm still here to talk to you about it. Okay? So at the end of the day, if that happens once, and it happens multiple times, you know how to deal with it. So part of it's experience. Part of it's experience. But it gets challenging, and it becomes a personal decision, but it becomes a team decision too. Because no Marine stands alone out there, no soldier stands alone out there, it's about the team. And when the team works together, you know, pretty much the fear goes away. You know, it's like if you're losing a game and time's running out, the question is, who are the brave guys that are going to step up and get the hits, get the outs, and make the plays? So that's what overcoming fear is really all about. So hopefully that answered your question. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So if somebody wants to attain a degree in political science, what's some of the most important characteristics they would need to consider for that?
Well, actually, you can get a degree in political science. I think the best thing is, once you get accepted at your university, is take the classes that you need. If you want to go out and, let's say, be a diplomat, work for the State Department, is they have intern programs once you get into college. You know, and you can do all kinds of exchange programs. I don't know if you guys are on the CIEE program. This is the exchange program for international exchanges. There's a scholarship, and there's a lady that works this region, and she goes to all the high schools. So if you're interested in that, you can do that before you become, are you a junior or?
I'm a senior.
Senior, okay. Yeah, because they don't do it for seniors. So if you're in 9th, 10th, 11th grade, they would do that. But you can do exchange programs. There's all kinds of exchange programs through the government. So, and but if you want to study that, I mean, certainly we've got a lot of schools here in Texas that have great reputations. Of course, probably the best one is the LBJ school down in at UT Austin. Of course, I have several friends that are teaching down at Texas A&M at the Bush School, so it just depends on where you want to go. So, and hopefully you'll be a great diplomat one day. Any other questions?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want to know your initial starting job and how transitioning up the ranks through petty class and everything, how did that affect your mentality?
You mean within the military?
Yes.
Okay. Well, in the military, when you train, when you come in, and I'll just talk about the Marine Corps, because the other services have slightly different approach. If you're an enlisted Marine, you either go, and because you're west of the Mississippi, you would go to the Marine Corps Recruit Training Depot in San Diego, California. If you're east of the Mississippi, you go to Parris Island in South Carolina. If you're an officer, now some officers will go through enlisted training and then they'll get selected for officer training, then you go to Quantico, Virginia. And at the Marine base there, that's where the officer training is. So typically, anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks for what we call the boot camp, whether it's officer training or whether it's enlisted training. And then you go to your specialties, depends on how long your school is. Now, all Marine officers, whether they're pilots, tank drivers, infantry guys, special ops, they all start in the same place in Quantico, Virginia. It's called the basic school. It's a 6-month program. Then you go to your next set of schools, okay? So, for me, once I left there, I went to, back to my recruiting district, which was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Then from there, I went to overseas. So I was, in my early days, I went and did an exchange program with the British Royal Marines. And so I was in Northern Ireland in what they called the Troubles days back in the 70s. Then I was in Afghanistan when the Russians were there. Then I was back in the East Coast and the West Coast, and then, you know, you move around a bit. A few other conflicts here, chasing drug dealers all over the world, working with the CIA and counterintelligence type stuff, and then of course, then we had Desert Storm, and then we had the most recent wars with 9/11, which are still going on. So that was kind of the scenario, you know. And then in between there, going to school, went to grad school at Georgetown, Yale, Army War College, things like that. So, and then some other interview schools. So, yeah. So anyway, if you stayed around as long as I am, you just keep going around the world, you know, circle 2 or 3 times and come back and do it all over again. So, but anyway, well, look, good luck to you guys. Unless you had anything else, I hope you have a great practice. I guess you're going to practice, Coach. And
Oh, we're done.
we're done. Okay.
We appreciate your time and your message.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome here anytime, and come see us in the spring.
All